Welcome to the second hour, ladies and gentlemen, St. Paddy's Day. Shortly, I'm going to tell you the story of how the Irish saved civilization. But right now, we're going to go back to the phones. There have been a couple of people hanging on long here. I want to get to this right away. Jason from Manhattan Beach in California. Hey, Jason, you're up. Thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm good, Jason. What's happening, man? I don't even want to know what's happening in California right now. What is it, like 85 degrees?
Yep, perfect, 80 degrees, as usual.
How long have you lived there, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh, my whole life out in the Los Angeles area.
Wow, yeah. And how old are you?
I'm 29.
Yeah. Has it changed very much in, the last 29 years?
No, it's always beautiful and never too cold, and I've never had to buy a heater in my life, so it's good.
How many earthquakes have you had to suffer through?
Oh, a couple big ones, but there was one this morning, actually, 4.7 in Los Angeles, but it rocked a little bit. Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, well, don't get me started on geography in the United States. In any event, I'm glad that you've found your own little paradise here, man. I'm still looking for mine. Thanks for the call. How can I help?
For about 5 to 10 years or so, I've had this little lump, this mass in my neck, in the parotid gland area, it looks like, and I was getting my wisdom teeth out a little while ago, and they were bothering me for a long time. And when I was yawning really big, there was a sharp stinging pain, and it was from the mass here in my neck. And he recommended to go see a doctor. And in the past, it's stung a few times as well when I yawned really big. And I went to the county hospital and had ultrasound, but they just said it's a mass, but they don't know if it's malignant or benign. And they're recommending a fine needle aspiration, and you could hit some nerves, and it could be a little risky. But I was wondering if you recommend taking that fine needle biopsy at least, and if it is malignant, and they recommend like surgery for something like this. Is that something I should go forward with? It's a sensitive area, or is there natural alternatives I can try to help with a tumor, or it's a cyst maybe, or a tumor, I believe, and what your suggestions would be for something like this in the parotid gland area?
All right, great. So that's an easy thing to answer, and it really speaks to the underlying philosophy that we bring to bear here, right? So as above, so below, everything's connected. And first of all, you have to think this through, man. If you had water intrusion into your house, there was a leak in the basement, and you lived in a part of the country where it rained, regularly. I don't know how much it rains in California, but if you lived in a part of the country where it rained regularly and you had a leak in your basement, you would not expect anything bad to happen for 10 years. You would expect something bad to happen right away, right?
Right.
And you would expect it to get progressively worse and progressively worse and progressively worse, right?
Yeah.
Well, so if this was a malignant thing, it would have gotten worse in 10 years. It would have gotten worse. So, the medical professionals are telling you that just to save their ass legally. Right. And they don't think it through. They're not using common sense. They're not practicing medicine. They're practicing disease management, and they're afraid to death of lawsuits, right? And so and this is why they recommend so many diagnostic procedures are done. And USA Today last year did a really nice expose on this. And they uncovered the startling fact that there are so many misdiagnoses now because of, and so many unnecessary treatments, because if you look hard enough for something with diagnostic stuff, you're going to find something that's broken. And so this is the MD's modus operandi. So if it were me, I wouldn't be afraid that this is going to be malignant, because it probably, odds are that ship already would have sailed and you'd be suffering from that, and you'd know it, right?
Right.
All right, number one. Number two, this is a strong and persistent symptom. And as such, it means that there's something not right, that something's up, something's out of balance in your system that needs to be addressed and adjusted. It's kind of like the check engine light on the dashboard. Whoa, something's wrong. I got to figure this out. So the first thing to consider is you need lymphatic support. You need lymphatic support. Now, your body, in the realm of circulation in your body has arteries which carry blood away from the heart. Your body has veins which carry blood back to the heart. And your body has an entire lymphatic system which carries immune stuff and lymphatic fluid all through the body, which helps to maintain the structure, function, and integrity of the whole kit and caboodle. The parotid gland is intimately connected with the lymphatic system in the body. So it would be prudent for you to get on board with a program that supports and promotes optimal lymphatic health. Now, there's an interesting technique that you can do. It's a breathing technique that activates your lymphatic fluid, because the blood that's in your arteries and veins is pumped through your body by the heart. But the lymphatic fluid that's in the lymph vessels is pumped by gravity and by motion. So there's a breathing technique that you can do, and Dr. Russ Newman taught me this technique about a month ago, right here on the phone. I interviewed him. There's a breathing technique that you can do to move lymphatic fluid through your body, and this would be a beneficial thing for you to start to do every day. And you want to do it 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, just like you're doing push-ups, right? You want to get into this and do it. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. So I'm going to explain it to you right now because it's real easy. All right. Basically, you're going to be standing in an upright position, and you're going to take a big, deep breath in through the nose. It sounds like this. And then you're going to blow it out through your mouth. Big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can purse your lips a little bit to kind of get a little pressure there. Now, you don't want to hyperventilate. You don't want to be like... You don't want to do that. You just want to take long, slow, steady breaths in, long, slow, steady breaths out. And while you're doing this, you want to bounce up and down from the balls of your feet to your heels, the balls of your feet to your heels. You can even do a little run in place. Or, if you really want to maximize this, you can go to an exercise store somewhere or a sports store somewhere, like, Dick's Sporting Goods or something, and get one of those little small trampolines. And you run in place on the trampoline. You bounce up and down on the little foot trampoline while you're doing the lymphatic breathing. Okay? This is really going to help. I mean, this just doesn't help. This is a really great thing for everybody to do. And if everybody did lymphatic breathing instead of, going to the gym and doing all these crazy weight training things, I mean, we'd be a much healthier society. So this is a really good thing for you to do specifically because of the parotid gland thing here, and it's a good thing for everybody to do as a general health perk. All right. Now... All right. Internally, you have to stop eating food that's causing localized pockets of inflammation because something's jammed up in the parotid gland, right? And the parotid gland or any part of the body doesn't get jammed up for no reason. Usually what causes things to get jammed up is inflammation of some nature. And the most common thing that causes inflammation, besides, someone punching you in the jaw, is chronic, consistent consumption of food that causes inflammation. Right? I mean, if you had a little barbecue in your backyard and the embers were dying down and every hour you went out and threw gasoline on it, well, it's gonna flare up and then the whole yard's gonna burn down, right? Yeah, it's the same with the human body. So when we eat the wrong food all the time, a little bit of inflammation, 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 then something breaks. Now, nobody knows why, In one person it goes here, and another person it goes there. I wish I knew the answer to that. But, no, we don't. So you have to clean your diet up, and you have to give your body the raw materials that it needs to put out the fires of inflammation. So the best supplement program to do that is the Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack.
Okay.
All right. How much do you weigh?
135.
All right. So I would do 1 Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack,
Okay.
3 Ultimate Selenium, 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium from Longevity, 3 Ultimate Selenium, 1 Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack. And then I would go to a health food store somewhere, and I would get a 16-ounce bottle of herbal cleavers, CLEAV like Victor ERS, an herbal tincture, an alcohol extract of the herb cleavers, CLEAV like Victor ERS, and I would do a teaspoon of cleavers before bed. 1 teaspoon of cleavers before bed for 4 weeks.
Okay.
Put it in a little bit of water, put it in some juice, because it's going to taste nasty. All right. The cleavers is very good for the lymphatic system. But you got to, in order for that herb to work, as most herbal products, you have to take it consistently, for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And this is unlike a nutritional supplement that you're locked and loaded for the rest of your life, the same way you have to take a shower every day. Well, you have to you have to urinate every day. You have to have bowel movements every day. You have to eat every day and drink water every day. Well, you need your vitamins every day. But the cleavers is just a short-term thing. So do that. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Do the lymphatic breathing. Get on board with this nutritional supplement and give it 2 months. 2 months before you judge it up or down. We got a hard break here, buddy. I got to scram. I appreciate the phone call. Call me back with a report. I look forward to it. Oklahoma's up next with Dwayne. Stick around. Oklahoma's up next, folks. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. If you're interested in learning more about what we're up to, please visit the website fireyourmdnow.com. Let's go to Oklahoma and talk to Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne, thanks for holding on. You are live.
Hello, Dr. Glidden, again. I got another question for you. I have a friend who has rheumatoid arthritis, and she is pregnant. I noticed in your webinars, which are excellent, by the way, you have Kilobiotic for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis, but it's not for pregnant women. Is there anything that she can do now, or must she wait?
Yeah, she's got to wait. And, half of the battle here from our point of view is reconstituting the joint matrix itself with the raw materials that the body needs to do that, right? So that's more than half the battle. And as far as we're concerned, the rheumatoid condition is also caused by the presence of a bacterium living inside the joint capsule called a mycobacteria. And it's like a parasitic infection. It's a nasty little organism that's living inside the body that shouldn't be there, and it's messing things up. But the way that we support the body's ability to handle that, and remember, we don't treat rheumatoid arthritis, right? We support and promote the body's ability to have healthy bones and joints. And in this case, we would need to do a little extra immune support. How we do that is with a combination of herbs called Killer Biotic. Now, people don't really think about this, but it's true. Just because it's herbal doesn't mean, there's no harm and no foul in it. The way that these herbs work is by exerting a toxic effect on the human body. It's one of the ways that they work. They're toxic herbs. They kill things. They kill things. That's their job. They're not friendly herbs that you like. The vitamins are very friendly to the body. The vitamins are essential to the human body. But these herbs are not. These herbs are only meant to be taken for a short amount of time because the intention of the herb is to kill things. And so we don't do that when we're pregnant. Now, and we don't do that when we're pregnant just to be on the safe side. It's entirely possible and probable that the herbal combination in that product itself is safe, and it's not going to harm the fetus. It's not going to do anything in a negative fashion whatsoever, but, just to be on the safe side, because it's a toxic herb and it's a strong herbal formula, we say, better safe than sorry. It's only 9 months. If she's got rheumatoid arthritis or any type of an arthritic condition, she's been dealing with it for a long time. So once the child is born, and heaven forbid everything is hunky-dory, then she can just add that into the bargain. In the meanwhile, though, you do everything else, because that's more than, I'm making numbers up here, but it's at least 75% of the recovery program is the joint support stuff. And, the 25% would be the immune support stuff. So she can clean her diet up, and she can take the OsteoFX and the selenium and the glucogel and the EFAs and the BTT, no problemo. And as a matter of fact, if she does that during the pregnancy, a super baby, she better be prepared to deliver a big baby, because she's going to, if she's taking these nutritional supplements and following the diet while she's pregnant. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, Doc. Thank you very much.
Is that it, Dwayne? How's things in Oklahoma, by the way? While I've got you, I've got about a minute and a half left here. What's the winter been like in Oklahoma this year?
Well, we've only been here for about a month and a half. It's been on and off, literally. Cold, below freezing, and then warm and muggy. And today it's kind of chilly, around 40.
Yeah, it's interesting. Where'd you move there from, or remind me?
Germany.
Oh, yeah, son of a gun. How about that? That's a bit of a culture shock, wouldn't you say?
Like I said before, Doc, it is good to be home.
Achtung, baby. Dwayne, I appreciate you, man. Keep up the good work. Remember, you are the last best hope your friends, family members, church members, and community members have to live long, healthy, and wealthy lives, and we do that with longevity. This is what we're about, ladies and gentlemen. This is a new paradigm. This is a new world order. It's a healthy world order, right? Not the new world order brought to you by the banksters. A new health order brought to you by Dr. Wallach and longevity. Science-based, clinically verified therapeutics, the intention of which is to restore, support your body's ability to have a strong and healthy body. You were born. It's your birthright to be symptom-free. It's your birthright to walk through life with health. It's your birthright not to be in pain and suffer with a chronic disease. You want to secure that? Take the 90 essential nutrients into your body, appropriate for body weight, eliminate the 10 bad foods. Life gets better and better and better. How the Irish saved civilization when we come back. How the Irish saved civilization. Very interesting thing to talk about here on St. Paddy's Day, and given my Irish heritage, I'm going to take a little leeway here and talk about this for a while. This is the title of a book that if you're at all a history buff, you should get, whether you're Irish or not, especially if you're Irish, because it really brings to light an untalked about aspect of history. The title of the book that you can get right there on Amazon is, it's a long title, How the Irish Saved Civilization, the untold story of Ireland's heroic role from the fall of Rome to the rise of medieval Europe. How the Irish Saved Civilization, written by Thomas Cahill. Here's an editorial review that I'm reading right off of Amazon.com. And this delightful and illuminating look into a crucial but little-known hinge of history, the author Thomas Cahill takes us to the island of saints and scholars, Ireland, the island of St. Patrick and the Book of Kells. Here, far from the barbarian despoliation, there's a word for you, despoliation of the continent, monks and scribes laboriously, lovingly, even playfully preserved the West's written treasury. When stability returned in Europe, these Irish scholars were instrumental in spreading learning, becoming not only the conservators of civilization, but all the shapers of the medieval mind, putting their unique stamp on Western culture, end quote. So what happened here is back in the day when the Roman Empire fell, Europe descended into barbarism, right? It was the medieval years of history in Europe. And part of the barbarism was that they burned books, and they didn't want anything to do with any of that fancy schmancy learning stuff. And so a lot of information that existed, from antiquity that the Romans had collected and preserved was destroyed by the barbarian hordes once the Roman Empire fell. Now, Ireland, being one of the outermost outposts of the Roman Empire, back in medieval days, nobody wanted to go there, and so everybody left Ireland alone. Once the Roman Empire fell, there was barbarism everywhere else, but on the little island of Ireland, which wasn't that easy to get to either, it was left to its own devices. And the priests who inhabited Ireland at that time had the dubious duty of copying manuscripts. That was their special skill set. They were book copiers, and this is, of course, way before electricity, way before printing press, way before copy machines, way before anything like that. They had to write the books out by hand. They would hand copy all of the texts, and that's what they did. And that's what they continued to do while the rest of mainland Europe was descending into barbarism. The monks and the scholars and the priests of Ireland just did their business, did what they always did. They transcribed the texts, and in so doing amassed a library of knowledge. They were like the gatekeepers of knowledge, right? It was like, you send all your information now to the cloud, right? They were the cloud of medieval Europe. And then when we rose out of the Dark Ages, people started to get a clue again. All of the information that the Irish priests and scholars had preserved made the Renaissance, was one of the major reasons why the Renaissance happened. Because without that, they would have had to go back to square one. But because the priests and the scholars and the scribes of Ireland kept all of that information safe and sound, Western civilization was able to move forward at a much faster pace. And that's how the Irish saved Western civilization. By Thomas Cahill. Whether you're Irish or not, if you're a history buff, check it out. Isn't history great? I think so. And remember what they say, unless we learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it. Well, maybe not repeat it. One of my favorite sayings, history doesn't repeat itself. It rhymes. Keeping that thought in mind, looks like Lauren from Pennsylvania is back. I think she had a question about her second child. Hey, Lauren, welcome back. What's up?
It's Lori.
Oh, Lori, sorry. Hey, Lori.
Yeah, before I go to the second child, the first one, too, I didn't get a chance to tell you everything. She not only was born with biliary atresia, she has transversed organs, where all of her organs are up on her right side, even her intestines, and then they just go down to where they belong. Yeah. The only thing on her left side is her kidney and an ovary. Yeah. All the rest is balled up on her right, and she gets constipation a lot, too, because of all that. And also, she will need a liver transplant in the future. Is this medication, this vitamins and stuff going to help her to prevent any of that? Or?
Well, I've never treated anybody with this particular condition, but I've seen remarkable turnarounds in extreme liver pathology with this program, absolutely. We had one person with sclerosing cholangitis. She'd had over 20 operations at Harvard University on her liver. Her liver was the size of an Oreo cookie. And she was on the list for liver transplant. And she got on board with this program and grew the liver back and didn't need a liver transplant. Okay. Now, we say this all the time, Lori, that the human body has a breaking point. There is you cut your finger off. There's nothing that I'm aware of, heaven forbid, there's nothing that I'm aware of that's going to grow that back. You get a tooth pulled, there's nothing that I'm aware of that's guaranteed going to grow that back besides perhaps an Ayurvedic Kaya Kalpa treatment. But notwithstanding that, there is a point beyond which the body can't bounce back. I don't know where that point is. Your MD certainly doesn't know where that point is. What I do know is that your daughter's body needs medical nutrition, whether she has a birth defect or not. Your body needs medical nutrition. Everybody's body needs nutrition. We can't get it from the food. We have to supplement, or it's only a matter of time until something breaks. So what we do is we lean on the wisdom of the body all the time. We understand that the body has, in this case, built-in weaknesses. But, we just give the body the stuff it needs. Stop giving the body stuff that's hurting the body. Stop eating food that's gumming up the works. Keep our fingers crossed, get out of the way, and see what happens. You might be amazed. And in any event, guaranteed, we can help with the acute stuff that's going on right now. Guaranteed.
They hooked their small intestines right to her liver because she was born without the bile for the waste to go out.
Yeah.
And because she was born without that, for the first 8 weeks of life, her liver was damaged. But they did tell us it has to do with, cirrhosis of the liver. So I guess the chances could be high.
Well, so you can surgically remove over 70% of the liver, and it'll grow back.
Right.
The liver is the only organ that does that, and the fancy schmancy doctor term for that is hepatogenesis. It's the generation of brand new liver cells. And so the body, there's a process in place in the body to do that. But, the body needs raw materials in order to get that job done. You can't drive the car down the road without gas, no matter how good the car is. You need to put the gas in the tank.
Yeah,
well, you need to.
Told us her liver will never regenerate itself.
Well, maybe they're right, but the doctors that you speak to have no education, no experience, no appreciation with medical nutrition. These doctors don't know anything about acupuncture. They don't know anything about traditional Chinese medicine. They don't know anything about homeopathy. They don't know anything about medical nutrition. So from their point of view, if they were just bound by their therapeutics, just bound by their understanding of the human body, then that would be accurate information. But they don't know what they don't know. And it's inappropriate for them to give you, we hear this all the time. Oh, you'll never walk again, right? And the person's walking. Oh, you'll never get your lung function back, and they get their lung function back. Oh, you're going to be crippled for the rest of your life, and they're out of the wheelchair. We see it all the time. And, this is not some Pollyanna worldwide health panacea, magic bullet for everything. It's not. What it is, however, is new-fashioned, tip-of-the-spear, cutting-edge, science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition that your daughter's surgeon is completely blind to. They don't know anything about it. So there's no harm and no fail here in trying, because everybody needs nutrition. And so, what we look to see here is when anybody gets on board with our methodology, we want to see specific and measurable, noticeable results in a certain amount of time. And with young kids, 4 weeks. So the proof of the pudding's in the eating. You'll know in 4 weeks whether or not the child is improving, because you know your child, and she'll be able to tell you, whether the heartburn is getting better or whatever that weird symptom is. Right. So get her on board with the nutritional supplements, clean up her diet, keep your fingers crossed, see what happens.
Okay, with the second child, she has Asperger's, anxiety, sensory, and eating disorder, and now she's had headaches since March 6th, and it hasn't gone away. But the real concern for her is her headaches, and her sensory so bad that we have problems getting her dressed daily.
Yeah, because she's hypersensitive. Did they diagnose that as reflex sympathetic dystrophy yet?
No.
Yeah, okay, well, they're about to. So what we do for everybody, right, and this is, I've got to tell you the truth, Lori, this is such a straightforward, easy concept that it's very difficult for people to wrap their minds around it, especially if they've had a long-standing track record with complicated medical stuff like you have. Both of your kids are up against it big time, not just with small stuff like eczema, but with big stuff, right? Big stuff. So you've been in the middle of modern American medicine for a long time, and they've filled your head with information, half of which is true. So, right, from our point of view, healing is easy. Surgery is complicated. Healing is easy. And the body has a built-in God-given ability to fix itself, and all we do every time is support that. That's all that we do. We support the body's ability to optimize its structure and function. That's all that we do. So in this case, of someone with Asperger's, that's a central nervous system thing, right? So we give central nervous system support. That's a smart thing to do. That's an easy thing to do. And how we do that is with one healthy brain and heart pack, one healthy brain and heart pack, and one bottle of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. One healthy brain and heart pack and one bottle of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. And in this case, we emphasize a diet that's high in cholesterol, because the central nervous system and the brain, which need help and support here, are made from cholesterol. You know, if the child had a broken bone, heaven forbid, we'd encourage them to take nutritional supplements that give the bones what the bones are made from, because that's just a smart idea. Well, when the central nervous system is in the weeds, we encourage the consumption of food that's good for the central nervous system. In this case, it's cholesterol. So eggs and butter and full-fat milk and full-fat dairy and cheese and hamburger and steak, cooked rare or medium rare. Eggs, and butter and salt, and then some hamburger and eggs and butter and salt, and go crazy for cholesterol with the child with the Asperger's, because they need central nervous system support, and that's how we do it. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Get on board with healthy brain and heart pack and selenium, appropriate for body weight. Eat a diet that's high in cholesterol.
The eggs, the butter, and the salt due to that. She also has an eating disorder.
Well, you're going to have to. There's going to have to be some workaround. We don't have any magic for that. At some point in time, you're going to have to come up with your own solution there. I wish I could help. Your music to end out the show with a caller from Texas, don't you think? Our old friend Alaric from Texas is back. Hey, Alaric, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Thank you for taking my call, Doctor. I was self-examining myself, and I found that within the sacs of the testicles, on the testicle, there's a bump. Now, I've had that bump for probably a couple of years now, but it's just starting to irritate. Now, I'm wondering what could that be? Could that be something cancerous or what?
I'm pretty sure it's an alien implant, and if you're seeing bright lights in the middle of the night and losing time, you're probably being abducted. Yeah, man, it can be a number of different things, right? And something to understand about any symptom in the body is if it's persistent. I don't care what it is. If you've got a strong and persistent symptom and then it gets worse, well, we need to take action about that and dial that in. Given this particular situation, the only way that you're going to have any earthly idea of what it is if you go to somebody who specializes in this. And, you know, this is one of the things about MD-directed medicine it's an interesting thing to talk about. It's kind of a sad thing to talk about, but it's interesting at the same time. You know, the whole ideology of the MD is to not be concerned with how to treat things or to cure things, but to be very, very concerned with how to categorize things, right? So this is why I would never want to be a dermatologist, because there's like 5,000 different diseases of the skin, and you've got to know all of them in order to be able to properly diagnose it, or, you know, you lose your license, right? You're just not any good at what you do. They have no idea how to treat it, but if you go to the right specialist, they'll be able to tell you more often than not exactly what it is. Now, the trick here is to finding a specialist, because that kid from Oklahoma, I think, called a while ago, and he had that lump on his parotid gland. He just went to the emergency room. He didn't see someone who specializes in this type of a thing. The emergency room people had no idea. But, you know, in his case, he's had it for 10 years, and so it's probably nothing to be concerned about as far as, you know, a cancerous tumor. But in your case, Alaric, I would recommend you find a urogenital specialist, a man who's over 60 years of age. A man who's over 60 years of age. Because this person will have looked at 1,000 of these things, and he may even be able to tell you, without doing any invasive diagnostic stuff, what it is. So, again, we want to take the right dog for the hunt, and we want to use the right professional for the right job. If an MD is on their game, they're good at diagnosing things. And it's important to know what things are, don't you think? It's important to know. So I would find a urogenital specialist male who's over 60 years of age and have him look at it and tell you what he thinks, especially if it's getting bigger or if it's getting more noticeable or you're kind of more aware of it now than you used to be. Now, and I wouldn't lose sleep about this either because there's, probably 20 different things that this could be, 18 of which have nothing to do with cancer whatsoever. So odds are in your favor that it's nothing substantial, especially if you've been on longevity for a goodly while. But like the fella said, you need to know because you don't know, and it's better safe than sorry. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does. Thank you very much.
All right. You're my best friend down there in Texas, Alaric. I appreciate your support and your frequent phone calls. Keep it up, brother. I appreciate you very, very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've done it again. You've spent another 2 perfectly good hours with me this afternoon. I appreciate it very much. Hope you learned something today. Hope you learned something every day. And if you like the stuff we talk about on the radio, you're going to love the stuff that's in the archives on my website, fireyourmdnow.com. Check it out. Send a link to everybody in your family. Send a link to this radio show to everybody in your family. We are moving forward at a rapid rate here in 2014, and I want you to come along for the ride. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, reminding you that you are the last best hope your friends, family members, and church members have to live long, healthy, and wealthy lives. Get with the longevity. Get with the representative that told you about this radio show and see how you can interface with us. Until we meet in person, live long and prosper. Dr. Glidden.